Hello people from all over the world. Welcome to Brazil 360 in English. It's an honor to have you here, and we hope that the knowledge shared in this video will be of great value. Don't forget to subscribe to receive more content about Brazil and to like the video, as this helps us gain more engagement for the channel to grow. This is an English channel produced 100% by Brazilians.
The Constitution of the Republic of Brazil, dating back to 1988, is a major historical milestone for this great country. Before this movement, the country was under the regime of a military government known as a military dictatorship. Thanks to this constitution, various fundamental rights and guarantees for human beings were expressed. Since then, it can be said that democracy is consolidated in Brazil, although it receives criticism from both the left and the right, either for the absence of certain rights or the leniency of others. Military dictatorship and the struggle for the country's redemocratization. During the second half of the 20th century, Brazil was marked by a dark period in its history known as the military dictatorship. This authoritarian regime began in 1964 when the Brazilian armed forces overthrew the civilian government and took control of the country. Throughout the years of dictatorship, which lasted until 1985, Brazil faced a series of restrictions on civil and political liberties. There was press censorship, political persecution, human rights violations, and repression of social movements. Many dissenting voices were silenced, and the country lived under a regime of repression and violence. However, even under the oppression of the military regime, resistance movements and the struggle for the country's redemocratization emerged. Various groups and organizations, such as students, workers, intellectuals, artists, and religious figures, united in support of democracy and the guarantee of human rights. The fight for redemocratization gained strength over the years, with popular demonstrations, strikes, political mobilizations, and international pressure. Brazilian society as a whole began demanding political openness and an end to the military regime. In 1985, the country took the first step towards redemocratization with the election of Tancredo Neves as president, although he passed away before assuming office. His vice president, José Sarney, assumed the presidency and continued the process of political opening. In 1988, the redemocratization of Brazil culminated in the promulgation of the Constitution of the Federative Republic of Brazil. This new constitution was drafted by the National Constituent Assembly, composed of representatives elected by the people, and established the principles and fundamental rights that guide the country to this day. Redemocratization represented an important milestone in the history of Brazil, guaranteeing the return of democracy, freedom of expression, popular participation, and respect for human rights. The period of military dictatorship left profound marks on Brazilian society, but the struggle for redemocratization showed the strength and determination of the people in achieving a fairer, freer, and more democratic country. The National Constituent Assembly of Brazil was formed in 1987 with the objective of drafting a new constitution for the country, marking the end of the military dictatorship and the beginning of the redemocratization process. The Constituent Assembly was composed of representatives elected by the Brazilian people. The members of the National Constituent Assembly came from different political parties and represented a wide range of ideologies and interests. They were elected in a special election held in 1986, in which Brazilian voters could choose their representatives to draft the new constitution. The Constituent Assembly included the participation of important political and intellectual figures in the country. Among the representatives were experienced lawmakers, trade union leaders, human rights activists, renowned intellectuals, and representatives from various sectors of society. During the process of drafting the Constitution, the representatives debated and negotiated various themes and fundamental issues for the country's structure, such as individual rights, organization of powers, political system, agrarian reform, education, healthcare, among others. Despite ideological differences and conflicts, the National Constituent Assembly was marked by a climate of dialogue and negotiation, with the aim of constructing a constitutional text that represented the aspirations and interests of Brazilian society as a whole. The new constitution was promulgated on October 5, 1988, and went into effect immediately. It established the fundamental principles and rights that guide the country to this day, guaranteeing democracy, the protection of human rights, equality before the law, freedom of expression, and other fundamental principles. The National Constituent Assembly and its representatives played a crucial role in building the current Brazilian democratic system, providing a solid foundation for the governance of the country and ensuring the rights and fundamental freedoms of citizens. Notable are the fundamental principles established in the 1988 Constitution, such as sovereignty, citizenship, human dignity, social values of work and free enterprise, political pluralism, among others. Emphasis on the human rights guaranteed by the Constitution, such as equality, freedom, the right to life, health, education, housing, security, among others. It is said that the Federal Constitution of Brazil is a humanistic constitution, as it values various universal principles related to human well-being. The 1988 Constitution of Brazil brought a series of social achievements and guaranteed rights, aiming to promote equality, inclusion, and the well-being of all citizens. Some of the key advancements include: 1. Social rights. The Constitution enshrines social rights, such as access to education, healthcare, housing, and social security. These rights aim to ensure a decent standard of living for all individuals. 2. Equality and non-discrimination. The Constitution prohibits discrimination based on race, color, gender, religion, or any other grounds. It promotes equality before the law and equal opportunities for all. 3. Indigenous rights. The Constitution recognizes and protects the rights of indigenous peoples, including their ancestral lands, cultures, and traditions. 4. Workers' rights. The Constitution safeguards the rights of workers, including the right to fair wages, working conditions, and the ability to form labor unions. 5. Environmental protection. The Constitution emphasizes the protection of the environment and promotes sustainable development, recognizing the importance of preserving natural resources for future generations. 6. Freedom of expression and association. The Constitution guarantees freedom of speech, press, and assembly, allowing individuals to express their opinions and form associations freely. These social achievements and rights guaranteed by the 1988 Constitution were fundamental in promoting equality, social justice, and strengthening democracy in Brazil. They represented significant advancements in the protection and guarantee of human rights and the construction of a more inclusive and egalitarian society. Now, this video is already quite long, and we will need to stop here. We will come back to discuss the political administrative organization of Brazil in other videos.
If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to like, comment on where in the world you're watching from, and subscribe if you can. Send us a shout out, and you'll be encouraging us to continue our work.